Pepsi merchandisers Danny Ruiz and Mike Walker had worked the early morning route through western Pennsylvania for years. They knew every back road, every sleepy gas station, every rundown grocery store where they had to fight for shelf space with Coca-Cola. It was supposed to be just another shift, but by the end of the night, they would be running for their lives. The wrong place, the wrong time. It started at the Pit Stop Mini Mart, a rundown gas station on the outskirts of town.
The kind of place with burnt-out lights, ancient pumps, and a bored cashier half asleep behind the counter.
Danny and Mike pulled up in their Pepsi truck just before 4 a.m., ready to restock the cooler and hit the next stop. That's when they saw it. A man in a gray hoodie sprinting toward the doors. Behind him, two figures, dressed in black, walked calmly, as if they already knew how this was going to end. The man banged on the glass. "Help! They're trying to kill..." A single gunshot shattered the air. Danny and Mike froze as the man jerked forward, his body slamming against the door before collapsing in a heap. Blood smeared down the glass. The figures stepped forward, their faces hidden beneath ski masks. One of them pulled out a silencer, pointed it at the fallen man's head, and... a second shot, final, cold, efficient. Mike's stomach twisted. "Holy shit!" Danny grabbed his arm. "Get in the truck, now!" The masked men turned and saw them. The chase begins. Danny threw the truck into reverse, tires screeching, as they shot backward onto the highway. Mike twisted in his seat, watching as the two masked men bolted for a black SUV parked at the side of the mini-mart. The headlights flashed on. "Dude, they're coming." Danny gunned it, the truck roaring down the empty road, the Pepsi cans rattling in the back. The SUV pulled out behind them, fast, too fast. Mike fumbled for his phone. "We need to call the cops." "No signal," Danny muttered, gripping the wheel. The SUV's high beams flooded the cab, blinding them. Then the front bumper slammed into their rear. The truck fishtailed, tires skidding on the damp road. "They're trying to run us off the road," Mike yelled. Danny swerved onto a side street, the truck suspension groaning under the sharp turn. The SUV followed, relentless. And then Mike saw it, up ahead, a construction site, with a barricade blocking the street. "No, no, no!" Danny yanked the wheel left, taking a sharp turn onto a narrow gravel road, the truck bouncing wildly over potholes. The SUV didn't hesitate. They followed. No way out. The road led them into thick woods, nothing but trees and darkness all around. The only light came from the truck's dim headlights and the relentless beams of the SUV behind them. "Where does this go?" Mike shouted. "I don't know," Danny snapped, checking the fuel gauge. "Half a tank. Not enough if this turned into an all-night pursuit." Then the SUV rammed them again. The truck jolted. Pepsi crates toppled in the back, bursting open. The SUV swerved up beside them. Now, the driver's window rolling down. Mike turned and saw the barrel of a gun. "Down!" he screamed. The first shot shattered the driver's side mirror. Danny yanked the wheel, clipping the SUV side. The vehicle scraped together, metal screaming against metal, before the Pepsi truck burst ahead. They had seconds to act. Mike spotted something up ahead, an old service road, barely visible in the trees. "There!" he pointed. Danny didn't hesitate. He yanked the wheel hard, the truck veering onto the path. Branches whipped against the windshield, the tires skidding through mud and wet leaves. The SUV shot past the turn, unable to react in time. For a moment, silence. Then, red tail lights flaring in the distance. "They're turning around," Mike panted. Danny's knuckles were white on the wheel. "We need to hide." The final stand. The truck lurched over uneven ground, deeper into the woods. After a mile, they spotted an abandoned lumber mill, its rusted metal roof barely holding together. Danny killed the headlights, rolling the truck behind a collapsed shed. They sat in silence, listening. A few minutes later, the SUV arrived. Mike watched through the gap in the shed's wood planks. The SUV's doors opened. 2 figures stepped out. They didn't have flashlights. They didn't need them. Mike could see them, moving in the dark, their heads tilting unnaturally, as if listening for something. Danny and Mike held their breath. Then, a soft beep. The SUV's engine rumbled back to life. The figures climbed inside. The tires crunched over leaves. And then, they were gone. Mike exhaled, his whole body shaking. Danny swallowed hard. We need to get to the police. One last message. By the time they made it to a gas station with cell service, the sun was rising. Mike's hands trembled as he dialed 911. The call wouldn't go through. Danny checked his phone. No service? Mike's phone buzzed, a blocked number. He answered hesitantly. A voice whispered on the other end. You weren't supposed to see that. Click. Mike stared at the screen. Danny? Danny's phone buzzed too. A text message. A single picture. It was them, standing in front of the Pepsi truck, taken just moments ago. Mike's mouth went dry. Danny turned toward the road. The black SUV was parked at the gas station across the street, waiting.